I want to look ahead to the future. Transitioning on that theme of immigration, that's one of these areas where Microsoft's values and the ones that you and Satya and others have articulated have put you at odds with the current occupant of the White House.
We really seek to provide a candid perspective on what we've thought about and gone through as a company in addressing issues like immigration. The first thing I would say is we have a philosophy, a set of principles that remains constant. Whenever there is a new team in the White House, we have a new president of the United States. Our philosophy is to partner where we can and stand apart when we should. And we worked together with the Obama White House on many issues, and yet we sued the United States government not once but 4 times over the surveillance and privacy issues that were surfacing in the wake of the Snowden disclosures. We've had the opportunity to work with President Trump and the Trump White House on important initiatives around issues like cybersecurity, and at the same time, we have brought a lawsuit together with Princeton University and a Princeton student to address the issues that are facing the Dreamers. We have employees that benefit from the DACA legislation, whose ability to stay in the United States is impacted by the executive order that changed that. But I will say the other thing that we really seek to do, regardless of who is in government in this country or in any other, is to focus on the issues, address the substance, be respectful of people, and not engage in some of the more dramatic name calling that I think can take us backwards rather than move us forward. I think especially as a company, we need to be a force for constructive dialogue and progress. And that is the kind of philosophical tenet around which we just remain steadfast.
We're on the cusp of another election. As you look at the field of candidates for 2020, are there any who are articulating what you believe to be a sensible way forward for the technology industry?
Well, one of the reasons we wrote this book is we, in fact, believe there's an opportunity not just for people who are running for office, but for all of us as citizens to actually think a bit more broadly and deeply about the technology issues of our time. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of room for us to be broader in our perspective. Technology is changing the world, but it is not reaching everyone in this country. Rural communities are being held back by the lack of access to broadband. Many populations, minority populations, people who are less well off, are being held back by the lack of access to technology skills. We all have fundamental interests in the protection of our privacy and security and the like. And so what we would say is we would all benefit from understanding where technology is going and then thinking about what that means for our lives and what we will need from the leaders of our states and this country. And it's really an effort to make these issues more approachable, to also hopefully make them a little more interesting and engaging, that really sort of motivated us to take the time to put this book together.
Is there a candidate who's outlining what you consider to be a sensible view on the right way to regulate technology?
Well, I'm not going to endorse any specific candidate. I will say that in every candidate we see some ideas that we think have real merit, and in every candidate we see an opportunity to learn more and do better. If there's one issue that I'll point to where I would frankly just love to see more attention and more innovation, it is in this issue around rural broadband. We live every day in this country now with an appreciation that there are people in rural communities that feel that the country is not serving their needs. And yet what we too often see, I fear, is candidates who talk about spending 60 or 70 or $80 billion or more to try to bring fiber optic cables to every home.